My name is Linda Leclerc, and I'm the founder of the Haha Sisterhood and of the School of Laughter Yoga. Welcome in the Joy Element, the feel-good podcast that inspires. The first time I met Dr. Michael Miller, it was in Miami at the second Laughter Yoga conference in 2007. He was there to present the results of a research he did on the effects of laughter with patients with cardiac problems. But just before his presentation, we had a 30-minute laughter yoga session. And all of us, happy practitioners, were enjoying laughing intentionally. The look on his face as he was doing the exercises with us, it was worth $1,000. It felt like he was all at once incredulous and amused and surprised. And he laughed. Fast forward a few years. In 2014, Dr. Miller published a book, The Positive Emotions Prescription to Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease, Heal Your Heart. I met him again in Chicago in October 2017, where he shared with us the results of another research on laughter. Professor of cardiovascular medicine at the University of Maryland, this man prescribes laughter to his patients. Isn't that great? Meet Dr. Michael Miller. Hello, Dr. Miller.
Hi, Linda.
So, welcome to the Joy Element. The first question that I ask people, I know that you're traveling, you're doing very serious research, you're working in an environment that is probably way more serious than mine. That's the least I can say. So when your life becomes filled with stress, you're talking about lots of things that could help the health of our heart. But when your life, because you're human, so when your life becomes really stressful, when you're facing challenges and, well, too many things to do, what do you do to just relax and rest and cope with that stress?
Well, Linda, you know, that happens to us and happens to me all too frequently, I have to say. And so I do laugh, and the way I laugh is really to either make fun of my kids or they make fun of me. That's probably the quickest way for me to laugh. And in all seriousness, all I have to do is say to either my son or daughter to help me fix my iPhone. Something goes wrong on my computer, and the first thing they say is, "I'll help you, Dad, but you're so stupid." And that makes me laugh, because what they have taught me is really not to take myself too seriously. And when I feel like I am too serious, I just turn to them, and they set me straight. So it's really a great way to deal with that. There are other ways. Netflix is a good way, and I stick to some of the comedy shows on Netflix. Entertainment is key. I think there was a show that's on Netflix called Terms of Engagement. Which is about these a young married couple and another couple and David Spade, who's a bachelor in paradise, and it's just really funny. And since I never saw those episodes when they were on television, and you could watch Netflix, you watch the replay for the first time, and the show dates back a few years. It is really funny.
Yeah. I can give you a few others that I love too.
And I think the thing really is because all of us, we respond to laughter in different ways, and what you might find funny, I may not necessarily. So the advice that I like to give my patients is to laugh on a regular basis, number one, but also to identify for themselves what it is in their daily life that could provide could trigger a good laugh, and obviously to stay away from things that could trigger stress and anxiety.
Yeah, well, that's also the advice that I give people, because I call that my emergency kit. So I have my DVDs and my audios and my books and my c'est quoi des bandes dessinées? Comics. So I love Calvin and Hobbes.
And again, so the Calvin and Hobbes, the great pieces of advice, and it's ultimately up to that person to find, and I always say try to hang out with people that not only make you feel loved and that you can show love to, but that you like to laugh with, that you find, and you know those people. Right, there are people that might be a little bit too serious, and there might be a time when you need to talk with them. But also, there are people that that are genuinely you enjoy being with them.
Yeah.
And that's what I think. If you can't do it on a daily basis, try to do it when you can.
Yeah. So is that what you do when you feel like things are crazy? Things are crazy.
Oh, absolutely. I have friends that I would communicate. Yeah, unfortunately nowadays we live in this highly stressed environment, 24/7 kind of thing, and people would rather text, than talk and see each other. So it gets and life gets in the way because there are life's challenges.
With
Kids and teenagers, and they go through their dance, which is not always good, but still.
Yeah, it's a dance.
It's a dance. Daddy, do this for me? And, they play one parent against the other usually. Yeah. And the key thing is never to disrespect your spouse. You can't do that, and all too often the kids know how to manipulate. They're so amazing. That is a special gift. They're so amazing at manipulating parents to get what they want. So you have to deal with that.
I was a champion in that. Because I knew that if Mom said no, Dad was going to say yes.
And what they do sometimes is they said, Mom said yes, Dad. And then I have to say, oh, really? And then I say, hey, and then I ask my wife, and she says, no.
I didn't say yes to that.
Never said, I never will.
So you laugh, you make sure that you meet people that you're feeling good, spending time with. You help your kids make fun of you by asking them the right questions,
and just really try. And this could be super hard, especially if somebody criticizes you, or wants you to do something that you feel. The simple reflex is always to go against that person and be overtly hostile when your defenses are down. And so what you may want to do is, if that happens, and let's say you have a coworker that for whatever reason it's a stressful situation at work, and that coworker has said something negative, write down on a piece of paper how you would answer that reflexively. Don't do it. Don't do it. And this is what I've seen, because that's a situation that occurs where I write it down and I wait to the next day, and then I say, you know what? I'm not going to let them get the best of me. And change the wording around or write a new draft. Or what you could do is you have that draft of anger and you could show it to your spouse or colleague or friend, in confidence, but don't send it.
Yeah.
Don't send it. And then when you
just sleep on it.
Always sleep on it. Never go with that because usually that first reaction is a direct negative response. And if you have time to think about it and look at it and says, maybe I'm being a little bit too defensive. Let me change it a little bit. And don't let them get me, but they're not going to get the best of me.
Yeah.
And then if you tone it down and just come up with something that is more universally friendly, then, because even though we're living more in a politically incorrect world these days, we don't want that. We don't want to necessarily make ourselves examples of that or follow that.
Yeah. So what do you do then when you feel a bit low, or we all have our days when we don't feel so great, when we're a bit sad or depressed or just simply not feeling so good. So what do you do when it happens to cheer yourself up, or just to go through these days?
So I talk a lot to myself. I talk a lot to myself. What I try to do is get some fresh air and take a walk by myself, because you need to be your own best friend. And the one thing you don't want to do, because that'll usually bite you if you do, is take it out on somebody you love or care about. So what I do if I'm had a bad day, I try to either walk it off and talk to myself, in a private area, and try to just have some time to chill, realizing you don't always get a lot of time, but I found even with 5 to 10 minutes, lock yourself in a room. I told my patient, I have a patient that was a principal in a school, but I have other patients where I tell them, just take a 15-minute break. If you have wherever you can go, even in a stairwell, if you don't have your own office, just get away and spend some time by yourself and let things just simmer. Don't talk to anybody, and just 10, 15 minutes by yourself to get clarity of the situation. And it helps.
Yeah, so you kind of recoup or
recharge.
Regroup,
recharge. And again, these are times that are particularly, you may have a bad day or stressful, or something unexpected happens.
Bad news,
things that just didn't go your way that you felt should have been the case. And like I tell my son, like last week, he misbehaved, so I didn't take him to a workout. And I said, this is a small, thing, but in the big picture, it means nothing, but you need to learn not to curse, not to do bad things, be more respectful, and then these things will occur. Good things will happen.
Yeah.
Bad things never happen when, if you take out overt hostility. Not a good thing.
That's a very great advice. And thank you for sharing that with us. You just finished speaking for an hour and a half, and thank you for taking this time with me. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, Linda.
It was really great. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to know more about our programs, services, retreats, trainings, and all sorts of tools to bring more laughter and joy in your life, visit us at www.yogadurir.com, and for the women's laughing at hahasisterhood.com. Until next time, keep smiling and laughing.